So my full name is Chandana Manidi. I am a physiotherapist by profession. I've done my master's from University of South Australia, in orthopedic sports and manual therapy. Physiotherapy, I can say it's an umbrella word, like where physiotherapists are the ones who will assess if you are having any problem or not having problem also. And we will also do a diagnosis, which is very close to your symptoms that you presented with, and we'll also make sure that we are coming up with good management protocols or treatments, if we have to say, because not everything can be treated, but some can be managed, some can be treated. So that's how much we can get into the athlete's journey. Once the management is done, we also give them a lot of maintenance programs, some routines that they can do before, after, or during their games or their training or their journey as an athlete. Okay, a physiotherapist in conservative way can treat anything which is about grade 1 or 2, where it is mildly strained or sprained, or partial tears. Those kind of injuries we can treat and also manage very well, and also put them back into their sports as well. Common injuries are definitely the obvious ones: the muscle, ligament, tendon, where you get tendinitis or tendinosis, and the bursa, where the water bubble in your joint can swell up, can get inflamed, ligament tears, sprains. And then what else? These are the types you can say, but it has to be specific to a sport. Different sports have different kinds and types of injuries. But if we have to take common injuries in structure or any kind of specificities, then it is ligament, muscle, tendons, and also bursae that you can get injured with. There are some injuries where there is a total tear or complete tear of a muscle, and also where a surgical procedure is required. We do recommend them to get it corrected surgically, because we are not talking about an inactive person, a very, very high active and performance level kind of an individual we are talking about. So they will need surgical corrections and procedures. But before even they get into this kind of surgical procedures or done, because they need this kind of help, before that itself, we will ask them to be in touch with physiotherapists. Two reasons. One is that once they are into surgical procedure, there will be a lot of pain, right? They might not even follow what we are saying. So, and also second thing is that to build a rapport with the physiotherapist, because that's most important, the confidence. After surgery especially, you will start losing confidence of using that part, as well as because you're an athlete, you will start doubting yourself so much after the surgery, right? So for those reasons, pre-surgery physiotherapy is most important. Second thing is that after surgery, it is not just about to get you pain-free, but also we need to be there with an athlete until they return to their sport. Put you back into sport, and also make sure that you're not injuring the same structure or any other structure. So injury prevention is also something that we work relentlessly with an athlete. Absolutely, each one is different. No matter if their body composition is also same, still our programs would be different. I would say it depends upon the body composition, the gender, the age, the sport, and the number of hours of training, not the days only, but hours of training. All of these will influence a physiotherapist's decision on what kind of recovery program they need. The only recovery we know or the athlete is aware of is to rest on the bed. They don't take their sleep also very seriously. But there are 5 types of recoveries. The first recovery is your active recovery. The second is your passive recovery. The third is nutritional recovery. The fourth is hydrational recovery. Fifth is the mental recovery. Passive recovery, sleep is the not only recovery I'm talking about. I'm talking about massages. I'm talking about manual therapy. I'm talking about not just taking a day off from your training is also passive recovery. And active recovery, when I say, then they will be thinking like more like stretching. No, that's not active recovery. Active recovery is part of your, like just like your warm up, there should be warm down. That's also recovery. So once you play or once you train, or whether that is gym or any other kind of exercise, you need to taper your intensity of that training. That shouldn't be called as cool down. I think that should be called as warm down. So you're still trying to do something with your muscle composition in terms like that. So you should be working on your active recovery. And under active recovery, there's also called as cross training. Right? If you are playing tennis, you should be finding something else like swimming, right? Where your different set of muscles are working. You're working out in the space and now you're working in water. So your muscles are working differently. Your recovery happens in the water. Now hydrational recovery, people think it's water. It is not. It's more than that, right? Because your water is not the only form that you consume and absorb. There are different infused waters that you should be knowing about and what time of the day you should be drinking. If you're drinking too much of water, you're diluting so much, your kidneys are overworked. If you're peeing, you should see the color of your pee. You know, these kind of basic things that will tell you whether you are hydrationally recovering or not. How much is the nutritional value of your fluids in the body is exactly how you should consume your fluids also. That's fluid recovery or hydration recovery. Recovery is that you must be feeling nervous before the game. During the game, what was your mental state? And after the game, there is also another nervousness, right? Oh, I should have done this better. Oh, I should have picked up that shuttle better. Or, I should have done this stepping better. All of that will be there in your head. You have to empty that. Just packing your bags and going back home, have a sleep, and next day morning go for a training is not going to work. So it is completely going to be different and opposite to what you thought about mental recovery. Do you need a mental trainer? Yes, if you have an access to a mental trainer, why not? Now, you have to pour your heart out. The professionals that you might be working with, they are mostly helping you to perform. They do not necessarily see the weaknesses. But your mental trainer, I think you should be mostly mental nakedness should be there, right? You should be putting out everything out. If you do not have someone with that credentials who can be a mental trainer, you have to train someone for that, who can actually listen to you and no judgments, they're just listening. The culture that I have seen there is a lot of layering culture, like codependent culture, coexisting culture. That's the culture I have seen in a different country settings. Whether it is a sport which is a team sport or an individual sport, there is a lot of communication happening between different professionals who are helping the athlete. The professionals I'm talking here are the coach, the fitness trainer, physiotherapist, massage therapist. There are in some academies there are exercise physiologists who decides how they're going to be having a program depending on the sport, right? And we are also talking about the basic people who will also work with them is your mental mentors. The only agenda these all professionals have or must have is the performance of the player or the benefit of the player. Nothing is more important than making sure that the player is comfortable enough with all of them and all are on the same page so that the player is not feeling uncomfortable to express how they feel about what. So that's what I have seen as a culture, and as much as possible if we can also inculcate. We do have resources, it's just the resources need to be under one roof. Okay, so when I talk about a team, the team of professionals need to have some credentials. Okay, so we are only bothered about the cost that we are paying for that professional to bring their expertise. I think we should be more worried and checking about the credentials that they hold to bring the knowledge, experience and expertise on the table. We can start from there. If you don't know whether this person is good enough for you, where you want to be as an athlete or a player or a performance-oriented player, then start with, figuring it out. What kind of credentials do they hold? And what have they done from the time they held their first credential to till today? What have they done as part of their learning, part of their exposure, part of their building their skills to bring the best into the same field?